If you're a fan of Formula One, you would remember the 30th Formula One world champion who was the youngest ever, taking his first title in the most dramatic fashion. On the last corner of the last lap of the last race of one of the most scintillating seasons, Lewis Hamilton. His prodigious talent and pleasing personality made Lewis Hamilton an inspirational role model and ideal ambassador for his profession. Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton was born into a mixed-race family on January 7, 1985, in Stevenage, a quiet English town north of London. His father Anthony, whose parents immigrated from Grenada in the West Indies in the 1950s, and his mother Carmen, divorced when Lewis was about 2 years old. Anthony Hamilton, his mentor and manager, worked day and night for years to further his son's racing career, which effectively began when 8-year-old Lewis was given a well-used go-kart that cost nearly as much as the family's modest monthly income. In 1995, a 10-year-old kart champion wearing a borrowed suit and shoes picked up 2 trophies at a motorsport award ceremony in London, approached by Ron Dennis, boss of the McLaren Mercedes Formula One team. "I said, 'Hello, Mr. Dennis. I'm Lewis Hamilton, and one day I'd like to race for your team.' I asked him for his autograph and his phone number. He put them in my book and also wrote, 'Call me in 9 years.' The call was made just 3 years later, and it was the Hamilton's household telephone that rang. It was Ron Dennis, who presented Anthony with an offer to financially support his son's career for the foreseeable future. He returned to the Formula 3 in 2004, but in the Euro Series rather than the British Championship. He stayed with Manor for the first appearance in the championship and won once at the tight Norising speed track. This left him 5th overall behind Green Alexandre Permat, Nicolas Lampier, and Nico Rosberg. That year, he also won the Bahrain F3 Super Prix and raced one of the Macau F3 Grand Prix. He had his first test in a McLaren F1 car in December alongside Green and Lloyd. Hamilton switched teams to Champions ASM for 2005, and the outcome was reminiscent of his second-year domination of Formula Renault. He won 15 of the 20 races, plus a 16th at Spa-Francorchamps, after which he and several other drivers were disqualified for technical infringement, and beat teammate Adrian Sutil. That same year, he won the F3 Marlboro Masters in Zandvoort, in the Netherlands, from pole position. He also won the prestigious Monaco F3 Grand Prix races from pole position and both the Pau F3 Grand Prix in France from pole position. The need to achieve undoubtedly accelerated his progress through motorsports ranks. After winning 8 championships in 6 years of kart racing, he went on to win 3 major single-seater titles, the most prestigious of which was the GPT Championship, where in 2006 he took 5 victories from 21 starts. In the following seasons, though he continued to be one of the most aggressive drivers and race winner, Hamilton failed to regain his championship form. His McLaren was not always a world beater, but in 2011, Hamilton blamed distraction in his private life for a loss of focus that he vowed to regain. In 2012, with his private life running smoothly, he drove hard and well and finished 4th in the standings with 4 wins. His fame transcended his sport, but the high-flying tattooed hero with diamond ear studs never lost his driving ambition and his hunger to win. He worked hard at self-improvement, adding a thinking dimension to his hard-charging instincts, made fewer mistakes, and became an unstoppable force in 2015. His magisterial performance in 2018 elevated Lewis to the highest echelons of the pinnacle of motorsport, his 5th world championship, equal to the decades-old milestone established by the legendary Juan Manuel Fangio. At the age of 33, Hamilton's records to date are 73 wins, 83 poles, and 134 podiums in 229 Grand Prix. This left him well placed to pursue the 7th driving title achievement of the great Michael Schumacher. His outstanding season, the product of greater understanding of the value of teamwork as well as his focus on continual self-improvement, was especially satisfying for Lewis Hamilton. "This is the highest point of my career," he acknowledged, "in terms of my performance and how I perform with the team." In the 13th year of his F1 career, Lewis Hamilton secured his 6th world championship, one less than Michael Schumacher's record 7. Thus confirming his status as not only the driver of the decade, but convincingly securing his place among the select few considered to be the greatest of all time. The 2019 driving title, his 5th in 6 years, was hard-earned in a field that featured several ambitious youngsters intent on dethroning the 34-year-old superstar. While his Mercedes team secured a 6th consecutive Constructors' Championship with their car, though still the class of the field was less dominant than before. The sport's best driver remained humble and honest, wearing his heart on his sleeve and showing more of his sensitive side. Describing his season as an emotional roller coaster, he dedicated it to his late friend and mentor, Niki Lauda. He mourned the loss of FIA F1 race director Charles Whitning and expressed shock after F2 driver Anthony Hubert was killed in Belgium. Beyond excelling in his risky profession, Hamilton continued to develop himself personally, furthering his interest in fashion and music, as well as exposing his social conscience. A vegan of several years, he increasingly spoke publicly of his emotional and animal welfare concerns, and helped launch a plant-based burger restaurant in London. More than ever, he focused on using his popularity as a force for positive social change. The one constant in this tumultuous time was the continuing domination of Lewis Hamilton, who won his 7th driving title and led his team to a 7th consecutive Constructors' Championship. Throughout his triumphant campaign, Hamilton handled his class of the field Mercedes W11 with methodical precision, controlling races and driving flawlessly fast, yet with car-conserving care, to far outperform his teammate Valtteri Bottas, who won just 2 races and finished a distant 2nd overall, in an identical car. Far from gloating, Hamilton paid tribute to him. Valtteri is amazing and doesn't get the credit he deserves. Confirming the magnitude of Hamilton's supremacy was the fact he missed the penultimate race suffering from COVID-19 virus, then finished 3rd in the final race while feeling far below par. "The virus is no joke," he said. "I'm destroyed. I do not feel good and I'm grateful to be alive and fight another day." Lewis Hamilton called the 2021 season the hardest ever in his 15 years at the pinnacle of motorsport. Hamilton and Max Verstappen dominated the 20-car entry. The drivers are at the top of the game. Their respective Mercedes and Red Bull racing teams were the class of the field. The intense rivalry between the 36-year-old, 7-time world champion Englishman and his hard-charging 24-year-old Dutch rival was marred by frequent clashes. Responding to Verstappen's aggressive driving, Hamilton fought back in kind, setting them on a collision course seemingly destined to end in controversy, which it did. Millions of enthralled viewers witnessed one of the most ferociously fought championships in F1 history. Having exchanged the championship lead throughout the year, though Verstappen had 9 wins to Hamilton's 8, the adversaries came to the final race exactly equal in points. Thus, the sport dramatically poised for a championship showdown at Abu Dhabi's Yas Marina track. Hamilton convincingly led Verstappen until a backmarker's crash with a few laps remaining closed up the field behind the safety car. To preserve his lead, Hamilton stayed out of worn tires while Verstappen pitted for fresh rubber. With the checkered flag fast approaching, the race director instructed only those lapped cars separating the 2 front runners to unlap themselves. Normally, it would be all lapped cars, thus clearing the way for a last lap of all-out racing from which the winner would take the title. The Red Bull car on newly fitted tires easily overtook the Mercedes, and Max Verstappen became the new world champion. As the Red Bull team wept with joy, there were tears of rage among despairing Mercedes personnel. Mario Andretti, 1978 world champion, tweeted a heartfelt appreciation of Hamilton's sportsmanship. The Lewis Hamilton masterclass on how to be the best in every way, a champion who wins most days and shows the world how to behave and stay composed when situations aren't kind to you. Lewis brings his A-game even when his soul is ripped out. Strength, control of spirit, role model. Hamilton's journey to becoming a Formula One world champion began when he was 13 years old. That's when McLaren, one of the most prestigious teams in motorsport, signed him up as a junior driver. Excited to get his career underway, Hamilton eagerly visited the McLaren factory to see where he would be working and training. As he sat in his go-kart, surrounded by the sleek, high-performance vehicles of his dreams, the doors of the factory swung open. In walked none other than Prince Charles, who had come to officially open the facility. The young aspiring actor couldn't believe his eyes as the prince knelt down beside him and asked him about his aspirations and dreams. Without hesitation, Hamilton told him that he wanted to be the best in the world. Fast forward 22 years and Hamilton's dream had become a reality. He not only achieved his goal of becoming a Formula One world champion, but he had also made a name for himself as one of the greatest drivers in history. In recognition of his incredible accomplishments, Hamilton was knighted by King Charles. As the monarch bestowed upon him the honor of Sir, he looked at Hamilton with a twinkle in his eyes and said, "You've come a long way." It was a moment that Hamilton would never forget, a testament to his hard work and dedication to his craft. As the curtain closes on this exploration of the remarkable story of Sir Lewis Hamilton, we can't help but wonder, where will the road of this racing legend lead next? Will he continue to shatter records and dominate the track? Only time will tell, but one thing is for certain, the impact he's had on the world of Formula One will be felt for years to come. We want to hear your take on the legacy of Lewis Hamilton. Do you think he's a true great of the sport, or do you have a different opinion? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the ride. Until next time.